Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your number one non-boring source for personal development. And today on the line, we have Ha Tran. She's the author of Empowered by Hope, the winner of Live Fearlessly 2011 contest hosted by the Massachusetts Conference for Women. Today, many people would consider Ha Tran to be a typical American woman, happily married with successful and well-adjusted children and a successful career as an entrepreneur and life and business coach. Little do they know, it was not always that way. Ha grew up in Vietnam during the time that her native country was torn apart by civil war. In 1978, she was forced to flee Vietnam and became what was referred to as boat people. She was a war refugee with her husband and two toddlers and spent 15 months in isolation on an island off the coast of Malaysia. With the help of the American Red Cross and other relief organizations, she and her family gratefully received sponsorship and made their way to America. The excitement of arriving in a new land with renewed hope soon turned to anxiety and paralyzing fear when they found out they only had $20 among them to support an entire family. Through the gift of wisdom and guiding principles imparted by her studious father, the family not only survived but flourished. Ha's life journey truly been empowered by hope. And we're empowered to have her here today, inspired and empowered. And Ha, thank you for being on the Full Potential Show. Thank you so much, James, for having me. Now, Ha, I understand, too, that you're a member of Les Brown's Platinum Speakers program here on your bio as well. So you're certainly gifted in the speaking realm, and you do a lot of speeches, I take it, on your story and empowering others, yes?
Yes, that's correct. Because, to me, I'm thinking that people are hungry for hope. And I thought that my story might give them some hope. Because that's the journey that if I can survive and to become who I am today, along with my family, I think that's very inspiring. Don't you think?
I do. And, right before you came on the show, I said, it's got to do something with that library behind you. I really do. And I say that joking, but also have serious. I see a major correlation between the success that one achieves and the amount of personal development that they're willing to put into their life. And so I do believe success leaves clues, and right there behind you are some clues to what has led you on this path. And I understand that your father, even though you guys, had just started over in the new country, he had a small library that you were tapping every once in a while, yeah?
Yeah, I grew up in the family that my father have built his own library in our house. So I grew up surrounded with book and with all the coat, with the nice fabric, that, and it just decorated all around his library. And I learned to love coat and love book through my father.
There is a real connection there with our passion in learning and where that learning takes us. So I hope anybody who isn't serious about personal study and making reading a routine will take heart in what has helped you to become who you have. Now, I want to go back to that time when you were in Vietnam and your country was literally still in the midst of this civil war, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was, tell me what kind of conditions you were under that caused you guys to have to leave to get on a boat and isolate yourself in some island in Malaysia. What was that pivotal moment when your family knew you could no longer stay in your homeland?
James, I have a very privileged life. My life was protected by my father. Even though the war going on around me, but I don't understand the impact of the war at that time. But until that day, April 30th of 1975, when the Saigon fell, the communists took over our beloved country. April 30th, 1975. You remember those days, don't you? 30 some years ago when the communists took over our beloved country when Saigon fell.
Personally, I don't
You
remember
too
that
young.
time. Personally, I don't even think I was capable of memories at that time. But I'm with you though.
No, but if most people, if they know
Yes.
anything about Vietnamese history,
Okay.
they should know, because most of American men went to the Vietnam War and they returned home. And during that time, when they returned home on April 30th of 1975, the communists took over our beloved country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was only 20 years old at that time. I hiding under the ground. I was afraid for my life. However, my 20 years old mind, the spoiled brat, I was mourning for the life that I used to know, the life that would soon become a distant memory. So the communists came in, they took everything. And overnight, they turned the entire country, become paranoid. Everyone's spy on everyone else, because the communists, they have the way of getting you to talk about somebody and to spying. They give you a small thing of a reward in order for you to get the story from somebody else. Now, my father and I, because our family well educated, we had money, so enough to for us to be prosecuted. So a group of 17 years old kids, 16, 15 even, they came to our house and they dragged my father and they dumped him on the floor and make him kneel on his knees and push me along a side with my father. And they had our housekeeper, our servants, be a witness of them when they prosecuting us. And at the middle of the night, they blindfolded my father and I.
And these are 17-year-old kids.
Yes, 14, 15, 16 years old with a big gun. And, so they thought that they have all the power to push and shove us. And then at the middle of the night, we transport to the place that we didn't know exactly where will we be, on an old broken dump truck. At one point that we even had them stop to put in the water for the engine to cool down because it heated or something. But then we went to the place, the wetland, where the concentration camp, where my father and I spent about 90 days there. And so when we left that place, my father knew that in order for him to ensure my survival, he knew that I must escape Vietnam. I must leave Vietnam.
So they held you at this concentration camp for 90 days. And then did they release you back to your home, or where did you go from there? Did you escape from the concentration camp? What happened?
My father had made a trade, an offer to them. My father signed off everything to them, just let it go.
Oh, okay. I'll give you all of my property, all of my money, if you'll just let us leave this camp.
Yes. So so when they released us, we went to live in the orchard with our gardener. And then my father talking to someone secretly make arrangement for us to escape Vietnam. The plan was for my father and I to leave Vietnam as soon as the boat people had the space available for us. But then my father thought that, okay, if we go together, if we get caught, how can he free me? So he said that I should go first. And then if something should happen, he's still out there. He can, do something, because in the small country, the bribery is still happening. So he buy my way out. So, but then I was the only child. I grew up, I have housekeeper, chauffeur, people taking care of me. And my father thought to himself, how can she survive by herself? And so in order for him to send the servants.
It's kind of like Paris Hilton going on safari.
You can hire the servant to go with me. He can hire the servant to go with me. But at that point, you cannot trust no one. So my father made arrangement for me to marry to a man that I met half an hour, 17 days before our wedding. I marry a perfect stranger.
Well, at least he was perfect.
Perfect, that is. But so I actually fall in love with him after 23 years of our
Oh
marriage.
my goodness, really?
Yes.
Wow. All right, so he sets up this marriage. You guys get together, get on the boat, make it to America. Your father soon follows, I take it.
No. 10 years later, I
Oh my
returned.
goodness.
Yeah, and I found my father, and I asked him. I said, "Why don't you come? I was waiting for you." And my father told me that at that time, people keep an eye on him because they knew soon or later my father will follow. So my father said, with good conscience, he couldn't sacrifice other people's freedom, because if they try to catch him, they will catch other people by associations.
So
my
for
father,
10 years, you didn't see or hear from your father.
that's correct. And the communists had not give when I sent home the letters or the
They
information,
wouldn't give it to him.
they would give it to him. So my father, all those time, he thought that I had died. And I, in turn, think that my father had died. So when I found my father 10 years later, it was a very emotional moment.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about what you did when you got in the country. What do you think are some of the key things, starting from ground zero like you did, that have really allowed you to make a place for yourself in America? I mean, you literally started from nothing and you built yourself up into a life that, many would say is the good life. And obviously starting from scratch, no connections, no money, there is definitely some kind of strategy to this that I think could be helpful to others that want to create a better life for themselves. So what do you think are some of the things that you did that would be valuable to others?
And I need to mention to you that when after 15 months that we was in the refugee camp, and we get the sponsors who with their help we came to America, and the flight from Kuala Lumpur to O'Hare International Airport, it was 17 hours. On that 17 hours, I dream of landing in American land, the land of freedom and opportunity.
Gold paved streets, milk flowing in the alleyways.
And things like that. And then
no, those are Hollywood movies.
But when we get to the airport, the airport crowded of people, but nobody see us. They rushed in every directions, and we didn't know any English. So we cannot ask anybody for help. And we didn't know if anybody were waiting for us. And so we were told that our sponsor was greeting us at the airport. And I remember I looked as far as I could see to see if anyone was waiting for us. But no one was there, James. No one was there. But later on, I found the two beautiful women with a sign. They hold up that Quang Hang Tran, which is my husband's name. I was so excited. I ran to them, but it come to a sudden stop, because we didn't look anything like them, and the fear of rejections, what would they take a look at us and they didn't see what they saw? What would they do? Would they leave us there, or would they send us to somewhere else? But then I look at my two children. I summoned all the courage within me. I ran to them and I cried. I cried like I have never cried before. I cried just like a lost child, finally reunited with her parents by some miracle.
You made it.
I made it.
That's an experience that most people will never have to go through, and then from there it was a building process. So I'd like to.
English.
What's that?
Yes. We didn't speak any English. We had $20 in our pocket.
Yeah, that's those are some obstacles to overcome. What did you do once you got there and once you started to build this foundation for yourself? What do you think made the difference between what you were able to accomplish from the time that you arrived to now versus, say, other immigrants that maybe never were able to establish themselves? Because I know that there were those stories as well.
Yeah, the first thing that when we came to America, and after we settled down, my husband and I, we taught in order for us to have a better life, or at least one of us who understand what's going on in the environment that our children will grow in. So we decided that I will the one go to school. So I signed up for the English as second language at the community college. Took me 6 years, James, 6 years of second ESL in order for me to get my my associate degree.
But you stuck with it.
Oh, I did, because I'm not a quitter. I when I start something, I finish it, and and again, education is very important. Education certainly will break down the isolations of for the immigrant just like us. We need to be able to speak.
I think we're going to have to land on that point because we don't have much more time. I do want to get any final thoughts that you have to share, and then we're going to encourage everybody to go and check out your website and your book. I know you've got your whole story in there as well. The book is Empowered by Hope. The website is hatranspeaker.com, HATRANSPEAKER.com. The book can be found at Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. And again, her website, hatranspeaker.com. And I understand you're going to give away a free copy, autographed copy of your book to one lucky listener. Where do they go to get a free copy,
You will provide me the name of the
okay, they can reach out. They can reach out.
And then I will, if I get the address, I will send it out.
Okay, so if you want to get a free copy of the book, the first person to email Stacy@fullpotential.com will get a free copy. That's STACEY @fullpotential.com. And
Yes.
I just love saying your name. That is such a fun name.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts that you want to leave people with? I mean, you've really been through a journey that most people will never have, and you've understood one very important thing, that no matter what environment you're in, it's very important to get an education in order to elevate yourself to function at a higher level. Are there any final thoughts that you want to give folks? Especially in today's time, they do want inspiration. They do want to be empowered. And there are people that have gone the route of education through traditional means and still don't feel like they're able to land on solid ground. What thoughts do you have that are very relevant to today's tough economic times?
Even today or yesterday or tomorrow, my father lesson that I learned, he always told me that do your best, be honest, and keep your promises. And that was the foundation that I built my life upon.
Integrity.
In integrity. And the thing is funny that you have to go through what I've been through, then you know that we are human. We have the potential to be a survivor. Doesn't matter what yesterday, doesn't matter how bad yesterday is or today is. It will end and you have another tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day with new hope. And then if you keep on doing what you love and do with love, do with passions.
I think those are great points. And no matter what challenges you're going through right now, you can be a survivor. And you've got to have that mindset and be willing to address today, because you can't do much about yesterday, can't do much about tomorrow, but you can always do something about today. And you used your todays in a powerful way to get to where you are now, but yet always, no matter how challenging it is, we have this moment to live in and to do something with and to operate with integrity, to read lots of books and accumulate a library like and find that greatness that we all have and that the Full Potential Show is all about. So thank you for really giving us a glimpse into that, starting from nothing, starting from a very challenging situation and being able to raise yourself out of it, being an inspiration to others. I appreciate having you on the show, And I'm going to use your name a lot, even when you're not on the show. I just like to say it.
James, now I have this moment to say that, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Really appreciate having you on. And I encourage everybody who's watching and listening right now, be sure and check out hatranspeaker.com. Pick up a copy of the book, Empowered by Hope. And be sure and like and subscribe the Full Potential Show so you can get more great insights from people like and freebies that you'll only find right here on the Full Potential Show. Take care,
So long for now. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Full Potential Show, your number one non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like the Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.